been in Hoi An for less than an hour. I've checked into my hostel and I got the whip for the week. I'm so excited. I'm gonna go get some food. I went to the famous Banh Mi Queen and it was a little busy, but somebody came out and was like, we have room upstairs, so a couple of us ran upstairs. It was air conditioned and it was a really good banh mi. So now I'm going to attempt to get to this coffee shop that's out in the rice paddies. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to. I'm not going to attempt vlogging while I'm riding because I'm still getting used to the flow of Vietnam. It's very different from Thailand and still a little nervous, but hopefully I'll get myself there in time. It's the last place I want to go before the sun starts to set in about 2.5 hours. So let's go. So I missed the turn that I wanted to take because I was too busy thinking about what my theme song was going to be as I'm like riding around on a motorbike. Totally different story, totally different issue. But I have found myself going through these cute little alleys with homes, and all of a sudden now I'm in the middle of a field. This is what I wanted. When I knew I was coming to Hoi An and I knew I was getting a motorbike, this moment is what I wanted. Let me show you. Well, I found my location. It's just a little bit blocked by some rice farmers. To the Roving chill house, and it's really beautiful, and they sat me on one of the platforms. Unfortunately it's right in the sun, but I do have my feet like basically in the rice fields, which is amazing. I ordered, they call it the purple lemon water. It's basically really delicious lemonade that's sweetened with prunes, or not prunes, dates, and colored with the butterfly pea flower. Writing in my journal, relaxing. They've got some chill music playing. I'm just enjoying the fact that I'm here. I think later tonight I'm going to kind of work out a game plan. The company that I ordered the bike from gave me some really awesome ideas for routes to take on the bike, and so I need to kind of like go through that and plan that out because I really want to take advantage of having a bike, but at the same time I do want to make sure that I explore Hoi An on foot. I think I'll do a lot of that at night because I don't want to be riding the bike after the sun sets. It's really dangerous, especially since there's no signals, and so cutting through intersections, busy intersections, is still a little scary. So got back to my hostel, charged my phone up a little bit, got out of the sun. Now I'm gonna go check out Old Town at night. It's supposed to be really beautiful. I already think it is. Bridge is definitely not wide enough for 2 vehicles. And it's got about 14 inches of sidewalk. Oh, and I've got people coming at me. This is gonna be fun. So it looks like Old Town's pretty cute. It's got a lot of market stalls. The biggest difference is it's got some really awesome UNESCO protected buildings, and people are riding their bikes and motorbikes through these small narrow alleys, which is kind of weird, but whatever, that's fine. This kind of adds to the experience. Not a huge shopper, so I'm just kind of like looking at everything briefly. So there's this like Japanese bridge. It's like a big thing and it's packed. It's kind of a zoo right now, and I'm hoping that when it gets darker, like all the crowds will like disappear into the darkness, or at least if I can't see them, they won't bug me as much. And hopefully, I've heard that a lot of the businesses will turn off their lights or dim their lights pretty dark, so that like all the lanterns that I can see along the river will shine even more brilliantly. So that's kind of what I'm hoping for. Like if I ignore all the crowds and I just look at like the old town is really cool. It is protected, like the whole old town is protected by UNESCO World Heritage, and they do it for like cultural reasons, because it's represents what like an old fishing village looked like in central Vietnam back in like I think the 1500s, and it's been preserved up until now. I think it got protection in the late 1900s. I'm just gonna imagine like all of the crowds of tourists, even the ones for like the tour groups that are holding like the little signs, little flags, are, you know, old Vietnamese fishermen from the 1500s. The trick I heard that people who go to Rome and can't deal with the crowds they picture everybody in like togas like it was back in the day, and it adds some of that magic, some of that luster back. So that's what I'm doing right now. It's a good challenge. Found a nice little spot downriver. Got my backpack on my front, and I'm just gonna sit here for a little while and just watch. People are putting lanterns in the river right now, even though it's not dark yet. I'm getting really excited. I decided I didn't want to wait, so I'm gonna go grab some dinner real quick and then come back to the river once it's a little bit darker. Okay, so apparently it's only super crazy on the water. I'm just one street back and it is night and day better. So one of the reasons I was so excited about coming to Hoi An was to eat, because as the menu at this restaurant says, Hoi An was named like the culinary capital of Vietnam, and I had so many recommendations to try out. And so earlier today I tried the Banh Mi Queen. Now I'm at a place called Morning Glory, which I am highly recommended, with tons of like local dishes, and it's a little bit more expensive than what I'm used to, but I'm really excited to try it out, because one of the dishes of Hoi An that I've been told to try multiple times is called Khao Lao. And I guess it's like a noodle dish with like pork or something, so I'm really excited to try it. Okay, so apparently this is Khao Lao, and she told me that I needed to like break this apart and like sprinkle it on top and then mix it all together. So doesn't necessarily look the best, but I know it's gonna taste really good. And of course I got some stir-fried Morning Glory, because the name is Morning Glory Restaurant, and I love Morning Glory, so I wonder if I'll be able to find Morning Glory back in the States. I don't think so. Although it grows pretty sustainably out here, so I'm sure it's just kind of like a thinner spinach, but it tastes really good. Makes me feel exotic because it's called Morning Glory. And it's like one of the only consistent greens that I've been able to find in Southeast Asia. So when I see it on the menu, I order it. I mean, it kind of helps that it's like swimming in like garlic butter. Okay, now to try Khao Lao. So, looks like there is pork, some kind of like crouton. There's lettuce, noodles, bean sprouts, and I'm seeing like cilantro, that's cilantro, basil, I see some mint in here, so just a whole lot of herbs, and a chili pepper, which I'm actually gonna take out. I have no idea how to eat this, so I'm just gonna like go for it, I guess. Cheers. Oh yeah. And these noodles look hand cut. They're tied for best hand cut noodles I've ever had. The other hand cut noodles I've had were in Germany at this Japanese restaurant that Elise found. And were we in Stuttgart? I think we're in Stuttgart. Anyway, they're really good. Okay, now that I'm properly stuffed, let's go see if we can see the lanterns in the river. It is pretty. It is very pretty. It's giving Disney. So I can see why people think there's like a correlation between the Hoi An lanterns and the movie Tangled. Really is beautiful. There's not as many lanterns in the water as I thought, but I didn't realize that each boat has at least 2 colorful lanterns, and it's beautiful. So I'm glad I came down here. It turned out to be absolutely beautiful. It's a little crowded at places, but the old town is more than just the riverfront, so you can find areas to kind of tuck around and get some really fun pictures. So I still don't understand why people think it's a good idea to like ride and buy the lanterns on the street from any of these ladies. I have no clue how much they cost, but I'm sure they're not very much. I just don't want to. Early morning start. I'm gonna go right up to the My Sun Sanctuary. I got up super early, so hopefully avoid a lot of the traffic. I do have a route that was provided by the company that I rented my motorbike from that should be a good route. So far so good. I made it out of the old town, went over this like super sketchy metal bridge, 2 of them. I find myself, you know, riding through cornfields. Or not cornfields, rice fields at sunrise. I'm literally surrounded by rice fields. The sun is rising, there's mist everywhere, I can hear birds, I can actually hear some Vietnamese rap coming from one of the houses up ahead, but to document this road. It looks like an off-roading 4-wheeler road, and there's a cow like right next to it. I'm a little glad I don't have to take this road back because that was a little intense. I have a little bit of experience on a road like this before in Thailand. My first day, it was not fun. There's just lots of like dips and stuff that I'm trying to keep control of the bike. Slow and steady. Can't really see that that's like a good dip. So is that one. So the path has taken me on some pretty crazy dirt roads that I am not comfortable with. So I'm actually just walking it back towards the road. I'm gonna go meet up with the highway. I mean, the whole point of taking this trail was to kind of like cut through the rice fields and like see how the locals live, but Yeah, I'm a little too like natured out. I got onto another road and it's just as like dirty, dirt roady as the other one, but then it gets even worse. So I was already thinking like the soonest I can turn right to get onto the road, the better, but I think it's just gonna be safer for me to push the bike back like, I don't know, a couple 100 meters and meet up with the road there. This is a much better road. I'm still going through all of the rice fields and seeing everybody like, you know, drying out the rice kernels and or shafts. I don't know what the term is, but it's kind of funny because they have it like laid out all over the road, and so you have to like ride through it. But my anxiety levels have like gone way down since I came over to this new road. So I only have like, I don't know, less than 10 kilometers to the sanctuary. Okay, whew, what a ride. Made it to my son. Cute little lady has a nice little side hustle going on, parked motorbike like right next to the entrance for 5,000 dongs, so that's awesome. I think I'm gonna grab some food before I head in and check it out. Okay, so after some subpar noodles, I'm gonna take a look at this map and figure out what this place is. Looks pretty cool. Go pay my tourist tax. Got some really good mood music. All right, got my ticket to my son. It was 150,000 dong. I can't remember what that was. I'll put it down below. Let's go check out the sanctuary. It's a World Cultural Heritage. Looks pretty cool. Looks like some old ruins. I did hear that it's preferable to have a guide with you for these because I heard there aren't any real plaques, but based on my time at Angkor Wat, I think I'm ready to just wander around and kind of be in my own head. So it has a map and looks like there is transportation up to the sites. I mean, I can get on board with having a shuttle to take me to these places. I'm gonna be the caboose. Passed by like one little ruin and I was like, oh my gosh, I really hope it's not like little bits of ruins kind of like spread throughout, because that would be exhausting, especially if they weren't like, I don't want to say whole because none of these are really whole, but like intact enough to really like get a glimpse of like what the structure was. And I just had to walk a little bit further and now there's like clusters of them, so thank goodness. Okay, so apparently they do have some plaques. I don't know who thought metal on metal engraving was going to be a good idea, especially out here, but apparently this group was the main center for worship for the god Shiva. It was heavily damaged during the 60s. They've started restoring it since like the 1990s, I want to say. Boggles my mind that we're able to like climb all over these structures. one's really cool because you can see like where they've restored it, and it's really nice because it's got this cool juxtaposition to a temple that they have not even, I think they've started on it because I see some scaffolding, but it's like completely overrun. So it's a really nice juxtaposition to see actually how much work goes into restoring these and keeping their original like grandeur. I'm so glad that I came early this morning because I am seeing so many tour groups coming through, which not a big deal. I think it's great, but I basically had all the sites to myself, give or take like one or two smaller parties. After Anchor, it's nice to have a little bit of peace and quiet around the temples and like the sanctuaries. So okay, headed back to the entrance. So my overall thought, I think it was worth it. I was a little skeptical at first. The fact that it wasn't super spread out. We got to take a ride up to where the temples were helped. The fact that it's super shaded and the setting is very, very beautiful. Oh gosh, I can't say that anymore. I can't say it's very, very beautiful. The setting is up in the mountains, so it's shaded. I don't want to say it's cooler because it's not, but it feels better because you're not getting beaten by the sun. I like the fact that there were little plaques. I was not expecting any kind of plaques at the temple sites. They didn't give too much information, but enough to give it context, enough to appreciate it. It's been a nice, pleasant walk. It's a big loop. Most of the temples are on one side of the loop. And then I've just been walking on this nice pathway. The bugs, like the sounds that the bugs are making, that's what that background noise is so intense. I've never heard it this intense before. Normally, like as you get closer to the bugs, like they'll stop. I guess Vietnamese bugs are different. Came to this place called Bun Cha Ta. So Bun Cha is like a regional specialty dish, and I'm really excited because I might have had it before, but I don't remember having it. And so I came to this really cute place, and I am so excited because I'm starving. So I got a ton of food at the beginning of the room. So we have some like vermicelli noodles, some salad and some herbs, soup with pork, and spring rolls, and then garlic and chilies and these like black peppers. So basically I add a little bit at a time into the soup and have just different bites. So, and then I'm supposed to dip the spring rolls into the soup as well. But he said, be careful, the soup and the spring rolls are still very hot. So yeah, they just cooked it up. And I'm really excited about some of these rolls. I don't know how them are. I'm gonna eat them. Oh, and all of this is costing me about $5. So the broth is kind of like sweet almost, kind of like if you make like a sweet and sour like meatball. And upon further digging, there is literally a whole piece of bacon in here. So I added my herbs, I added some noodles. It's really good. I get the hype. You know, sometimes when you travel into places, people talk about like a specific dish that's like really popular, and sometimes they fall a little short, in my opinion. But sometimes like this, they slap pretty hard. So I am loving this. So it's pretty intense, labor intensive. Like you don't add everything all at once, because you still want like the lettuce to have some crunch. There's a food tour on the other side of the table going on. You still want it to have some crunch, so it's not like, you know, soggy lettuce at the end. So I'm gonna need 2 hands for this, I think. Maybe. That's why I'm wearing a black shirt, so I can spell. So I decided to come to the Pottery Village because pottery is a huge part of Vietnamese culture, and I'm pretty ignorant when it comes to pottery and ceramics and things like that. It's always a little tricky showcasing like a museum or a place like this on video, and so instead of kind of going step by step through all the places that I visited, I thought I would share some of my favorite pieces of knowledge, little nuggets that I learned, and also some of my favorite places. I'm actually standing in my favorite place right now. It's called the Miniature Village, and it's got a little village, but it also has all of these world famous monuments from everywhere. So pottery has been around in this village for about 500-ish years, and actually the people that came here to settle the area did so by accident. They were actually sailing up another direction, and they kind of came in this area to avoid a storm and then just kind of set up shop, and that's kind of how pottery came to be in this location. Do my top 3 little nuggets. So it's a very generational skill here, so it's passed from father to son, and a lot of the younger generation doesn't want to take up pottery as their profession because it's not as lucrative as other places, and so a lot of the current artisans, a lot of the current potters are worried that the skill will die. And I mean, you can say that about most skills. You see like the older generation kind of taking point on that and worry, okay, when they pass, you know, who's going to carry on these traditions? So it's a very stark reality right now. Pottery used to be green because the artisans would put fish sauce or like pickle juice in it. That's cool. So the last piece of information that I learned that I thought was pretty interesting kind of ties into what I said earlier about how I felt pretty ignorant about pottery and ceramics because I thought they were just bowls. You know, back in the day, you know, when their grandparents or when their parents were doing the pottery, it was mainly like household items, like bowls and dishes and stuff like that. But then when aluminum came introduced in 1975, the artisans had to kind of think of another way to keep the practice alive and make money. And so they started to do more decorative things, such as, you know, decorative lamps. One of the artists was talking about how he designed decorative chandeliers for all these hotels all around the country. That was really fun. It was a really great trip here. I'm gonna go home, get out of the sun, continue the adventure. Of course, I had to end the night at the Roving Chill House, which has become one of my favorite places. So this morning I'm doing a tour where we learned to make lanterns. Mine's looking a little scruffy, but it was super fun to make because we don't always have the opportunity to get creative when you travel. And next we're going to be going on the coconut boat tours. I'm so excited and I have no idea what to expect, but I don't know how I'm going to get this home. It's always hard when you're backpacking because you don't have room for trinkets and stuff, so I was thinking I could probably hook it onto a carabiner on the back of my backpack, so we'll see. Apparently it collapses down, so it makes it a little bit easier to transport. It's still going to be a challenge, but at least I don't feel like vulnerable walking around with it. We're about to hop into one of these boats. I'm gonna switch over to the GoPro. We pulled up to the spot where I think we're gonna do the turning and twisting and spinning and stuff, and I'm not gonna be able to use any of this audio because they're playing Gangnam Style. Pretty hectic, pretty quick after our coconut boat ride. That was so much fun. So then after that, our boat ride continued. So it was about an hour, and then we went into these like, they're kind of like mangroves, but they're coconut trees, palm trees, and you know, we were passing, you know, these old wooden boats that they are still using today to harvest some of the palm fronds and the coconut like berries. And then all of a sudden we pulled off to the side, and like my boat driver just gave me a stick with something on it. I guess we went fishing. I don't know what we were fishing for. The water was pretty gross. Turns out there were crab in the area. And then we headed back and we had a really yummy lunch with some of the best food. It was delicious. It was a great day. And then we came back home. My hostel is pretty sweet. Let me give you a quick tour. So I figured I have a bike, might as well just get out and ride, although it is a little scary sometimes to be in traffic. I just headed out of town, just started following some roads, not really sure where I was going, taking stuff to like dead ends, turning around and just going the opposite direction. And I saw a bunch of people turning down this one alleyway, and I found myself following them into a bunch of rice fields. To do before I leave Hoi An is visit the famous vegetable village, and I think I made it. It's a start, but it's a mighty puzzle to lay. No need to say, how will I cope? Last night I wanted to go to the Roving chill house for one last coconut water and just enjoy being in Hoi An. Now I'm on a bus, a sleeper bus that I figured out actually you can like put the seats up so I'm not actually sleeping. My hair still doesn't fit, but I'm on my way to the next adventure. We'll see you in Hue.
Wow. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Lots of crabs.
Wow. Yeah.
There's a lot of crabs. A little bit smaller than what I'm used to, but that was cool. Felt like, you know, the deadliest catch, but, you know, in Vietnam. In the river.